Greetings, discreet defenders. Tonight we have chronograph testing of 2 rounds. One is the Hornady Critical Defense 32 H&R Magnum 80 grain FTX round. The other is the Cor-Bon 38 Special Plus P 125 grain JHP round. And we're going to be shooting those out of Ruger LCRs with 1.9-inch barrels. First up, I'm going to chrony the Critical Defense in 32 H&R Mag from the Ruger 327 Federal. And I'm about 8 feet away. $9.79, $9.40, $9.53, $9.44, $9.40, round number 6, $9.24. And those feel like nothing. It's almost like shooting 22, maybe 22 Magnum. The 6-shot average is 946 feet per second. No wonder it feels so light. Those are just 80 grain bullets. And those eject no problem at all. So that's a fun little carry round potentially. Once again, that's the Critical Defense 32 H&R. You've seen them, polymer tip inserts. An expanding bullet, not really a hollow point because they got that polymer tip insert. Next up will be the Cor-Bon with the, let me see if I can focus on that, slightly narrower hollow point cavity than what I'm used to with a lot of the 38 specials these days. All right. But these are supposedly a pretty hot load, even out of a short barrel. They're listed as a short barrel cartridge on the Cor-Bon website. Shooting from the same distance, this is the 38 Special. $9.95. There's more recoil to those, definitely. $9.27. $9.64. $9.39. $9.19. Oh yeah, 5 5 rounds. I'm getting too used to 6. Average velocity 948 feet per second, which is very good for a 125 grain bullet, in my opinion. Next up, we are going to do a gel block test, again, on both of these bullets. Now, the gel column that I have set up here tonight is almost 20 inches long, so hopefully I can capture any bullets, even if they don't expand. They'll probably be captured by the gallon jug of water. But my hope is that I won't have to rely on the gallon jug to stop these rounds. Now, the one I'm most interested in knowing about is the Critical Defense. And I do want to get a quick temperature reading on that gel block. And it is 40 degrees. So it's not quite to spec, Yeah, 40 degrees. It's not quite to specs, but it's pretty close. 39 is specs, but we'll make do with what we have. The air temperature out here is about 40 as well, so it's not like it's gonna warm up. All right, first thing I'm gonna do is put about 3 of these little critical defenses in the LCR and see if we get expansion or not. Once again, that's this round. Here's what they look like. And now we'll hit them through the 4 layers of 14-ounce denim and just about 20 inches of gel with a water jug behind them. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, we have successful capture with expansion. Line this thing up again. We'll shoot a little bit further over or a little bit further under. Try to leave room for the Cor-Bons. Yeah, another successful capture. Again, with a little bit of expansion. Not tremendous expansion. And now this one, I'm going to shoot way over on the other edge, kind of toward the top. Try to leave some space for the Cor-Bons to go under them. Or no, I'm going to aim for right under here. Try to get a fair test. See if they're further down in the block, if they work as well. Ooh, that's low. Oh, no, I clipped 0 of the base of the table of the cooler. Got all gel, good expansion. That one's facing forward, and that's probably the first proper test, although these other 2 have validity as well. Yeah, there's plenty of room in there. I'm gonna line up and shoot a 4th one, just because I want to make sure that my conclusion is scientific enough regarding the reason those other 2 rotated within the block. I think I hit the block. I hit the front block a little too far over toward the edge, and you could see that it kind of spun the block. And I think that also spun the rounds within the block. So, all right, pull this forward. I'll just move this front block over just a little bit, and the back one up just a bit, and then I will shoot just to the right of where I've been shooting. Try to line that up real carefully so as not to waste anything. A little low too. No, that's perfect. I hit it exactly where I wanted to. And indeed, no, that one has rotated as well. That one is also facing backwards within the block. All right, now the camera is set up so nicely right where I wanted it. I don't really want to move it, but I think under the circumstances, I owe it to y'all to show you what I have been talking about. All right, here is the entrance wounds, And here is where those bullets wound up in the block. Let me grab the ruler, briefly put it on there. All right, so there's your here's a 12-inch mark. We see a couple of polymer tips in at that point, but the rounds themselves continue on. The one lowest down in the block is probably very close to 14 inches. And the others are all beyond 14, out almost to 16 inches. So if this gel block was truly to FBI specs, those would represent absolutely ideal penetration. And this isn't terribly far outside of specs. So I would say that all 4 of those rounds may be considered, if not ideal, at least as close to ideal as you can get in a light shooting .32 Magnum. All right, now for the Cor-Bons. Let's get this lined up properly. We'll be shooting. First one I'm going to do is just dead through the center, because I want to really give myself a chance to capture that heavy hitting 38 special. It's a really good round. I want to see if we get expansion, full expansion with the 4-layer denim test with those Cor-Bons. I really doubt it. Those hollow point cavities are just really small to my eye. All right. Now for these, I'm gonna snug up my distance. I'm gonna close the distance by about a half a yard here. I'm just gonna shoot them from like 5 feet away to just be very precise, because my 38 Special LCR does not have an exposed hammer to shoot in single action mode. All right, that's pretty centered. It's awfully close to one of those 32s though. And yeah, it has stopped. It looks like I got a little bit of expansion and it rotated within the block. All right, I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna turn this sideways and get a clean front on there to shoot the next one, because again, I want to make sure that I know what the Cor-Bons are actually capable of. Although from that first test, it does not look like there's a lot of expansion. But 4 layers is a rigorous denim test, no question at all. I'm going to try to shoot under most of those 32 tracks, so right about there. Yeah, that's exactly where I wanted to hit it. And it has over-penetrated and, gone out the back of the water jug backer. So clearly non-expanding. And this last one, shoot a little bit higher, just above that one. Probably not going to see anything a whole lot different. I'll angle it slightly downward and slightly crossways. All right. Shoot. Still almost hit it in the same spot. And there it is. Slight expansion, driving all the way to the back of the block. All right. There's one more thing I can do to make sure and get a clean test on those Cor-Bons. And that is, I'll set this block up sideways. Wow, it's pretty full. No, there's a good spot I can still go through. And I'll shoot the front of this block first, and then I'll use this block as the backer. And fresh gallon jug for the weight. This one is slowly dying, bleeding out. All right, make sure this is straight. And set up right, yeah, right here. That's where I want to hit it. Mark that spot for myself with the denim, with the biggest hole in the denim, or the biggest area that doesn't have a hole in the denim, and try one more of those Cor-Bons. Give them the maximum chance to perform. Let's go right there, and just angle it in very carefully. All right, that hit exactly where I wanted it to, and it is captured in, no, it went out the back of this other water jug. So now that proves expansion failure for the Cor-Bons, because 2 water jugs with 2 holes each, entry and exit wounds, made by the Cor-Bons. Let us briefly take a look at those Cor-Bon rounds that are captured in the gel. They were super close to the back. Should be able to, ooh, can barely tear this gel. It is actually very close to specs right now. All right. This is what, yeah, I can see the denim plug in one and partial expansion in the other. All right. This is what those Cor-Bons look like now. Not a whole lot of expansion on either one, but those are the 2 that were captured in the gel close to the back of the block, around 18 inches. Doesn't really matter, because we definitely had 2 expansion failures. So the Cor-Bons are what they are. They're good ammo, they're hot, but they're not quite going to pass the 4-layer denim test. The critical defense, on the other hand, appear to have done a very good job Now, I'm kind of just going to Paul Harrell this a little bit and show you they're not huge, you know. There's a separated jacket, but there's a textbook expander. They're still kind of smallish bullets, you know. But they have done what they are intended to do to a certain degree, and stopped short of overpenetration for sure, and yet exceeded the 12-inch minimum. So, not bad. That's the Hornady Critical Defense 32 H&R mags. A pretty nice little load, very light shooting. I'm going to let my wife try this out, but if she wants a Ruger LCR in 327 Magnum to replace her Taurus Gold Trigger, she is going to have to get her own. All right. Thanks, folks. This is Dave with DDR, signing off.